Hey, welcome to Arrogance and Ales. I'm JJ.
I'm Trevor.
I'm Archie from Free Will.
I'm Andrew from Free Will.
I'm Faraz.
Let's get rolling. So, Arch, I reached out to you to come on the show to talk about Free Will and what you guys are doing. And we're going to be reviewing some Ralphius here. We want to talk about your barrel aging program. I know you tried to get the barrel master on the call today, but I guess he was a little busy.
Yeah. Nate Walter is our kind of what we. I guess Andrew, you can help me with this too. He doesn't have an official title, but he's our master blender / cellar dweller, if you will. He really enjoys that. He was formerly with Mackenzie's Brew House, and even on the homebrew circuit where he met John and Dom, the owners of Free Will, he was really always into the more eccentric, esoteric stuff in terms of saisons, barrel aged goodies, and all that. And so when he actually jumped on the team with Free Will at the same time that I did in 2016, and I think I heard Andrew say it early, he kind of just took the program to the next level and was able to just kind of dedicate his time to all of that. So a lot of what the variants that we'll talk about tonight in terms of Ralphius, between him and Andrew were kind of their brainchilds in terms of the variant flavors and how we mature that program. When Dom and John were just kind of, bootstringing and growing the brewery, Ralphius was just kind of its own monster. It was just a really good Russian Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. And since then, the last couple years, we've expanded on the idea of bringing more variety to that style. So with some of the variants, and Andrew, I invited Andrew to be a part of that tonight because not only was he in on some of the different variants, but he was also in on the maturation of the label work and how that looks, and kind of took us to the next level in terms of all of our branding when it comes to either Ralphius and some of the core brands as well.
That's good. I remember when it was just Ralphius and Ella, and Ralphius was barrel specific. Now I guess it's harder to get barrel specific beers. You had Pappy version. You had these barrel specific versions. Now I know it's harder to get barrel specific barrels, enough of them to make barrel specific versions, but the product is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate that. It's hard to compete in this market, certainly the southeastern PA and Pennsylvania market, with those kind of beers when you have the influx of really great breweries around the country who are doing barrel specific brands. You know what I mean? Lost Abbey comes to mind, Avery, some of the stuff, all of those things.
High West, Ballast Point does the High West, and they're got all the High West barrels. And
Yep. Yeah, so it's been a labor of love, take a lot of effort and all of that kind of stuff. 2 years ago, we had 4 different brands. We had like a coffee, a spicy cherry. Andrew, help me out here. We had 2 other brands, and then
orange, coconut chocolate.
Right.
Yeah, we did a couple just the first year, but last year was really where we amped it up. We did 12 variants plus the regular one. We had 13 different ones this past year. So
we actually gobbled up a bunch of barrels. We're ready to put one on, right, Trevor? Are we gonna?
The double barrel is on right now.
Oh, awesome!
Nice.
Awesome. What made the double barrel special?
That one was bourbon and rum. So typically it's just bourbon barrel aged. So this one spent half its life in bourbon barrels and half its life in rum. So I got all the good characteristics of both.
So is it still the same duration, just half and half?
I think that one was, because it's the first time we did the half and half. So now that we have even more mature stuff, like we left barrels last year unpackaged. So we've got Ralphius now that's even older than what we typically do. That's been sitting in rum barrels for even longer. So we've got some crazy stuff cooking up this year for sure. Now we got even older product to play with. So it's a constantly evolving thing.
So that was kind of a perfect segue. So not only do we do reviews here, but we also have usually a topic. And our topic this time, because we have these big boy Ralphiuses, is aging beer. A topic that seems to be changing all the time, where you have a brand like Founders KBS, and the head brewer comes out and says, KBS needs to be drank right away. That's when I think that it's the optimal. And I've drank KBS for 5 years, 6 years, at least since
That's a
2011.
market.
And I think that it needs age. I think that it's like 120 from Dogfish, which admits that they need age on it. Hell, Dogfish Old School literally says how to drink this beer. First, go out in your backyard, dig a hole, bury it in the hole. It says this right on the back of the label. And it says mark it and come back a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was again, Andrew can help me with this, but I think we've put on the label of ours best inside of 3 to 5 years. So with the can is a little different with the bottle, obviously. I think we like that to see somewhere between 1 to 2 years. But if you happen to have some vintage Ralphius that was in a bottle, or you have one of the big boys like I have from 2017, right now, if I was to crack this with you guys, I think that version of Ralphius would be hitting like all of those really nice deep chocolate, smooth notes. The whiskey and the bourbon part of it would subside a little bit, and you'll get a little more of the coffee and the roastiness, and that's exactly what you want. So to Faraz's point, come back to beers like this a year, if not 2 years later. Certainly, if they're in a bottle, you could go 3 to 5 years. In the can, we're safe to say that in the can, it's good holding at that point for a year, and you would really enjoy it a lot better.
Being that it's only this past year was your second year in the can, you're really not knowing until you get past this year, right? Like, I'm sure. Do you guys have some stored at the brewery from 2 years ago?
Yeah, we keep a stash of everything, just to check in on every now and then. We follow Untapped and all that stuff. We read people's reviews, and if there's a potential issue, we'll crack something open and assess things. So everything's been good with the cans, man. I mean, I haven't heard any issues, even the 2-year-old stuff now. So
It'd be interesting.
But right, it was definitely a bit of a test to start. We didn't really know what to expect out of that when we first did it. But
right. There's a customer we have from North Jersey. I'm telling you, he buys like 5-7 cases of it. It's insane. He buys Hoppin' Frog and Free Will Ralphius, and that's all he buys.
That's wild.
It's like an $800 bill every time he comes over.
Oh,
Right.
$800. It's over $1,000.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, 7 cases of Ralphius is over $1,000.
Hey, Trevor.
So about 80 years old, too.
If JJ thinks it's only 800, you know where he's putting the other 2, right?
You're so lucky Skip doesn't know how to do it down the podcast. But I mean, going to the can has the benefits. I mean, it has the 2 benefits. One is you don't have light pollution, which is the biggest enemy, even more than heat. It's always light. And 2, bottles, the reason they say 3 to 5 is because the glue or the seal is only guaranteed for 5 years.
Right.
So, I mean, I talked to, oh God, I forget his name, and I truly feel bad. The owner of Left Hand Brewing. And I asked him, I said, I have in the middle of 100 people asking him a bunch of stuff. I was like, I have a dumb question. You put on the nitro bottles drink by best, but you don't put it on the non-nitro for Wake Up Dead. I have a case aging. How long should I wait? And to his undying credit, he stopped these people who were asking him like distribution questions. He's like, what? Hold on. What was that? And he said, I can tell you this exactly because I have a case that I'm doing that myself. It's now on 5 years, and it's starting to turn the wrong way. How old is yours? I was like, 3 years. He's like, drinking. But yeah, so it's always just, and I mean, how many times right now I have 400 bottles at least in my beer cellar, and I bet you 100 or more are too old.
Yeah. No, that's a great point for us. And as a side note, Wake Up Dead is probably an underrated beer. It's a phenomenal beer. And even in that fact, Left Hand probably doesn't get enough credit outside of like Sawtooth and Milk Stout. You know what I mean? But Wake Up Dead's a great beer. I think, and Andrew, again, please jump in. I think Dom and John would say, without being idealistic, drink the beer when you're comfortable with drinking the beer, right? Like that.
Yeah.
If the mood strikes you, have the beer. With that being said, there's nothing wrong with aging a beer 1 or 2 years, and again, that in the bottle, that 3 to 5 years, right? I had a bottle of Bell's Black Note that I thought, oh man, I'm wait till 6 or 7 years, and it started to go the other way. It really did. So there's some truth.
It's hard to tell. I mean, I think a lot of it depends too on. I mean, we're doing these 12 variants, so I think when we package those beers, it's optimal time to drink. I mean, you can certainly savor them and hang on to them for a while, but we package them when we feel they're ready, and those flavors are right there. So I've noticed with some of the variants, especially those flavors will smooth out a little bit over time, and you won't notice them as much. So if you really want to get that spicy cherry character, like it's best to drink those up front to really capitalize on what we put into that beer. I think the Kopi Luwak one, which I showed earlier, this one especially, like this beer is just the craziest coffee notes ever. I mean, if you're going to sit on that, those are going to fall off. Right. So that one in particular was one to drink right away and really get that fresh coffee note. Like that was kind of what we intended. So right. I don't know. Everybody's.
I think there's a certain responsibility. There's a certain responsibility in the consumers, on the consumer's end too. If they let it go too long, it's on them. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and for the most part, people take that. You know, you might get a couple douchebags on Untappd that might say something dumb, but.
Yeah, it's a risk people are willing to take for sure.
Yeah. The Untappd crowd is that's to be expected. That you're gonna get 1 or 2 of those guys who are just like they're gonna rate the beer wrong, or they're gonna say, oh, this doesn't taste like a Pilsner, and they're drinking a Kolsch or so. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. What
the best is when you get yeah, it's pretty good for a Pilsner. I'm not a Pilsner guy, but it's pretty good for a Pilsner. Give it a 2.8.
Right.
I wish Josh was here so bad, but I do remember one of his most favorite Untappd stories is he has a stout that's called White Stouts Can't Jump, and it's white. And the Untappd reviewer was like, really cool stout, just shouldn't be white, 1 star.
Yeah.
Don't like IPAs, 2 stars.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Why are you rating that? That happens all the time.
Let's crack it.
You got it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What glass are you guys using?
All right. So today I got the Four Hands Brewing. Wonderful little glass here.
I got this Workhorse little tulip glass from the Finger Lakes.
We just have this little, it's just a Kentucky brewing, or Altec, I guess. I thought it'd be good for this beer. One of the thousands of glasses I've collected from Link Beverage.
I feel bad about the Altec because that's a dog food company. It just happens to be their parent company.
Wait a second. It's an organic pesticide company. They do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they do everything. And they also own a liquor company, a distillery, which is the other half of the brewery. So it's hilarious that everybody's like,
That's
oh yeah, dog
get
food
the barrels from, I think.
Yeah, but I like their stuff. Yo, the mouthfeel is fantastic. That's what I always loved about Ralphus. Fantastic.
So you guys are all drinking Ralphus. I'm gonna go a little against the grain, even though we're talking about our barrel program, and I'm gonna pour a Free Will Rayleigh, which is one of our sour ales aged in oak barrels with blueberries.
Now, I remember you came in, Archie, and you sold me something that I hate, right? You sold me this Ollie, right? And Ollie is an old school style. It's cool, but damn, dude, I couldn't handle it. It's so brune.
Yeah, so even Andrew can jump in on this one too. But so Ollie is a mashup. If I remember correctly, what John, our brewmaster, would say, it's a little bit of a mashup of an Oud Brune and a Flanders Red. So it doesn't really occupy one category or the other. So we're actually really excited and grateful that we've actually won awards with Ollie, because it doesn't really occupy the Oud Brune side or the Flanders Red, because it's right down the middle of both of those.
We'll get back to that rating thing. I would never rate that beer because it's not my thing.
That's the monkey one, man. I mean, that's honestly probably my favorite sour we do, but I feel like the American palate for wild ales and sours is like, they want fruit and super tart, and that's not Ollie. Ollie is woody. It's so oaky. It's got a nice, pleasant tartness to it, but it's a funny mashup for sure.
Yeah.
Frost, come on, go ahead. Put your input in.
No. I mean, no. I didn't get it from March. I got it from Ant, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be wonderful. And then he just looks at me because he. All right, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, it tastes exactly like it should. What the notes are: enamel ripping. Instantly, I need a Tums. Like before it gets to even here, I'm like, oh, where's the antacid? You know. But listen, I mean, I agree with you that the American palate is that. It's my palate. I like impromptu dance party though. Yeah. I mean, come on, you can go. You don't have to make, like, if you look, almost all the American style compared to the original beer is different. The Pilsner was a Czech Pilsner or a German Pilsner. I guess that's the same, even though the Americans make a Czech Pilsner horribly. But like same with sours. Sours are like your Flanders Red, your Lambics, your wild styles, which is something you guys, I remember, first, why wouldn't you write them? Had like a part all of the cellars, and they were like, "Guys, the brew, what's going on?" And you say that we do upstairs so that it pays for our downs, which is what we care about. Upstairs.
Yeah, people understand. It's that's maybe more of the focus nowadays, but we definitely love our sours.
We're getting into what they wanted to do, that they cracked a bottle of Rodenbach, and John had this kind of epiphany and said, we want to make beers like this. Like we hopefully we mature to a point where we make a beer that's like this. And Faraz is right that the upstairs pays for the fun you can have downstairs, and with getting a guy like Nate on board, and then adding the talent of Andrew, who's got a great palate for a young guy, and also has an idea of what the young craft beer consumer is drinking, and his talent with branding, all of this stuff. It's been a very kind of not only a labor of love, but just a maturation in that whole barrel program for us. And we're happy. I mean, our Sour Sundays are great. It also allows us the opportunity for a guy like me get out in the sales market and go visit JJ and Trevor and say, hey, look, let's crack these bottles and let's show some love to some of this. It brings me back to when I showed up with the Flower Series.
Dude, I love them.
JJ was like apprehensive. He was like, I don't know about this. And Trevor was more like, no, let's jump into these. Let's see what's going on. And so we sip them, and then all of a sudden JJ was like, yeah, this is great. Let's get this on our video. Let's all right, Ars, we're gonna do this in 5 minutes. And I'm like, I just came here to sell you beer. I didn't know I was gonna end up on your Facebook Live or whatever.
Dude, Archie, you're video gold, man. You are video gold.
Yeah, JG likes that Flower Series. He wanted to do one of those on the show.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have some extra Casey June too, the barrel aged Casey June, which I
Yeah.
love. It's a great style to barrel age. Honestly, I think Belgian triples are right up there with stouts.
Yeah,
It's funny because I bought those variety packs you guys did with the big bottles,
Yep.
and I bought a second round. I sold through the first round. Bought a second round. I bought more, and the variety packs turned out to be all Casey June, which was okay because it needed a pandemic. Because now they're selling like crazy.
What else?
Andrew, can you Andrew, highlight the idea behind Casey June and how that blends with Ralphius and Ella.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been doing, I don't know, smaller batch stuff. Ralphius and Ella have been the long time ones. Ella originally Black Friday kind of got its name. But yeah, Casey June, rum barrel aged special cookie, brown beard. We've done a couple other clean barrel aged beers over the years. We've actually got one we were tasting today to figure out what we want to do with it. Yeah, it's been just a fun little addition, a little bit more than just Ralphius and Ella, even though those are the babies for sure.
Well, Ella, explain Ella. Isn't Ella aged in brandy barrels?
Yeah, that's an apple brandy quad. So they're a little bit different every year. That one got as high as, I think, 14.7%, something like that, 2 years ago. I think it was down to 12.7, something like that this year. Ralphius has been the same, bounce around a little bit. But, yeah, Ella's awesome. And I feel like sometimes it gets outshined by Ralphius, no doubt. Everybody loves the barrel-aged stouts. But Ella's pretty special, man. I really think Ella's a really good one.
We always try to buy extra Ralphius and Ella when it comes out, and then Sixtels, because throughout the year we'll throw it on the draft system. It's just one of those beers that everybody loves.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, those beers have done well for us for sure. And like Andrew said, Ralphius outsells Ella, but Ella's a special beer. And back to Faraz's point about the aging, I've found that Ella gets better in that 1 to 2 year mark too, because in the apple brandy barrel and Ella being a Belgian quad, it's certainly sweet up front, right? So it's a little on the sweeter side. But if you let that mature over a year or two, it really smooths out. And Faraz, you'll love this. It becomes a really nice cigar beer with something with a lot of guts. You know what I mean? Like if you draw up something, a Maduro cigar, one of your favorites,
like an LFD chisel, like a double Lajero chisel.
Yeah, the diesel's nice.
What? You don't like a double Lajero chisel?
Padron. You want a good, rich, spicy, a Padron anniversary? You
Listen,
smoke an
man,
adult cigar.
I need to have leather sofas and flat screen TVs in my place to get Padron. Fuck Padron.
My favorite stick. I can't help it. When I started smoking Padrones, I was 18 or maybe I was 20, and they were $3 sticks, and nothing on the planet compared to them. $3, they were better than $20 Opus X's, and now they're $40 and more expensive than Opus X, and they're still just that good though.
You know, the market.
It sounds like the way Cantillon was about 12 years ago. You could get a bottle of Cantillon for $7. Now all of a sudden it's like, no. There's no Cantillon to be had, and if there is some, that'll be $50, please.
And that is a fucking created market, and don't fucking tell me it isn't. They create it, they limit the market, and they do it on purpose. Cigar business has been doing it for years, and the beer business, a few of them do it. Cigars have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the beer business, it's smart. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, you could make Ralphius all year if you spent all the money and made a huge, massive barrel program, and then it wouldn't be as valuable or as pricey.
So I'm gonna delve into something different here. It just came to my mind. The cigar business, cigar manufacturers make you sign a contract for certain brands that you have to protect their brands, so you can't sell them at a discounted rate below a certain rate, right? So, and they have the right to do it, and the Supreme Court upheld it. because they want their brand equity to remain strong. Okay. So if we go below, they'll come in, they'll swipe it away and say, hey, you're done. You can't sell it anymore. Why doesn't beer do that?
As I think about that, it's a great question. But from the craft beer standpoint, it was always about community, right? It was always a lot of your favorite breweries. All of those guys started on the home brew circuit, which is like, I brew my beer, Faraz brews his beer, Andrew brews his, Trevor brews his, you brew yours. We get together at a place and we share each other's things. We talk about brew techniques. What did you do to get your beer to that place? And how do we do that, right? So it was all about community. And I think the idea now is, if you tried to say, hey, JJ, you just don't sell enough crisper for us, so I'm not going to sell you Ralphius. Like, you would be like, hey, Arch, go pound sand.
Yeah.
The guy up the street is buying, I can buy that German-style Kolsch, and I'm selling more of that. Even if I did that with Craggle, which we would all agree Craggle's a great fresh IPA in the local market. If I said, JJ, you're 10 cases short of being able to buy Ralphius because you didn't do that, there's two things that come into play. I didn't do my job because I didn't check in with you and say, hey JJ, you're about 10 cases short on this to get you to the level of getting Ralphius. With that being said, we're such a close-knit and robust market that Free Will can't afford to have that kind of game. I can't afford to go to one of my larger beer distributors who is covering a large swath of territory for me and moving our product. I can't afford to come into you and try to play that game. It just doesn't benefit anybody. I would be cutting my nose off to spite my face.
Let me give you an example. But Founders, I'm gonna throw Founders in here now. Founders could do that, right? So they're a larger brand with a national distribution network, right? They had KBS and CBS that they absolutely destroyed. They've single-handedly destroyed them by themselves because they didn't give a shit about their brand equity. And I don't care if this airs. I really don't, because I've said it to all the reps. I've said it to everybody. If you saturate the market, if you don't limit and you don't put restraints on it, your brand equity is going to shit.
Right.
And their brand equity went to shit. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but
listen. I'm willing as a sales rep to deal with some of the flack that I get when we release the variants of Ralphius for the benefit of the overall brand. So the fact that we send Andrew, and Andrew can speak to this, I think we sent 4 to 5 actual variants to our wholesaler to distribute, and maybe 8 or 9 of the other ones stayed at the brewery. What that did was that created a market for everything. And to your point, JJ, we're not gonna. I don't think we're not gonna upscale barrelage.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Where we go overboard. Right.
Don't do it. Honestly, scale back a little bit, because the brand doesn't need oversaturation. No brand like Ralphius, because it's special. Treat it like it's special. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Look what happened to Goose Island this year. They made too much. They put it everywhere, and nobody gave a shit. You know? I mean, it's
another one. Thank goodness for the pandemic, because we sold so much Goose Island that we had laying around.
Oh my God. The pandemic helped Goose. The pandemic helped everything.
You can blame it on the pandemic, or you can blame it on Governor Wolf shutting down wine and spirits for like 10 weeks.
Hey.
And then you had nothing else to do but drink beer, right?
Right.
I wanted to put in a post. I wanted to do a post on Facebook, Instagram, and say, fucking state stores should have asked us how to run curbside. We could have fucking told them. But I didn't do it.
Andrew,
why are you shaking your head?
No, I'm laughing. I'm just laughing. Listen, I'm laughing. This is all funny.
Let me throw this to Andrew. Andrew, because Andrew's a little more in on the backside of these talks. What are you hearing? I mean, what do you guys talk about when it comes to the Ralphius planning for the next year?
It's still a little early. I mean, we should be having a big meeting soon. This is right around the time last year we really started diving into what we want to do. But I know John has been working real closely with some local distilleries to bring in some kind of local barrels. So we've always kind of worked with some bigger distilleries and gotten their barrels to age Ralphus in. A lot of Wild Turkey. Did some Jack Daniels last year, a whole bunch of other stuff. But I know this year we got some real cool barrels from New Liberty Distilling down in Philly. Working with some kind of closer partners to get some barrels. So
That would be awesome.
yeah, they're already working on some different variants for this year. So we'll certainly have some new additions. Yeah, I know Nate's really excited. So I don't know exactly what he's planning, but working with some different variety and barrels this year.
It's a heavy responsibility. I mean, you got a brand that's special, and you got to keep it that way, in my opinion. And keeping it's hard because it's an unknown. You know, there are unknown variables there that you got to find, and I don't know how you find them unless you talk to retailers. I'm telling you right now, cut it back 20% and create a demand. It's not smart to keep increasing on a brand like this. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're about maxed out with our space, so we don't have much more room.
Go ahead, Franz.
But yeah, I mean, it's always a topic of conversation. Like, what's the limit to variants we can do? Like, I'm not saying we do.
I'm not saying variants. I'm saying Ralphus in general. Like,
in general, sure.
Straight up Ralphus.
But last year we did 13 different versions. Do we make each version a little bit smaller and do 24 this year? Or do we dial it back and do 6 but more of each? Like, there's a million different ways you can look at it. So
from a salesman standpoint, I would be, and I think Faraz was going to say this, I would be in the scale back to like maybe 10 variants and just have a little bit more of each of the really cool variants that people really were looking for. You know what I mean? That would be my point, my position.
I think 12 is a pretty good number. I mean, I know Nate's always wanting to try new things, so maybe this year we subtract out a couple we did last year and add in a few new ones, and then maybe we'll go back to one next year. Constantly keep it evolving, but I personally feel like 12 is a decent number to be at. It seems crazy to go above that, but
people love it. People freaking love it.
It's kind of crazy.
Didn't you guys do one this year with the coffee beans that are eaten by cats? And is that
yeah, that's
the Kopi Luwak.
Yes.
One.
Is it cats?
The weasels.
Oh, the weasels. It's weasels. Yeah, it's weasels. Yeah.
A wild
weasel that poops it.
Yeah, because McKellar did one, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's from 13, so I'm gonna pop this and see how the variant tastes.
Nice.
Funny. But I agree, Arch. So it's two things. One, more than 12. What do you guys think? Your Eclipse? Like Eclipse is 12. Eclipse is 12, and they do 13, and they do one that's a brewery exclusive. So it's a good mix, and then it comes in its own little mixed 12 pack. So, come on, marketing guy, bro, come on.
That was definitely a reason, the mixed case for sure.
There you go, see? I said, your problem is, JJ, if they start to scale back, that number on the side of this can that you have a price on starts to get more expensive. And
That's okay.
I know you think it's okay. Because you have a certain type of clientele. But people like Arch and I have to sell to people other than just you. If everyone was you, it'd be great. Our job would be, gumdrops and lemon drops. Oh, what a wonderful day that would be. Right. It's not like that, brah. Right. I got to go into places that are selling Goose Island, that are selling a million other barrels where that can be trashed. But guess what? Hey, man.
Yeah, but this right here went to $12.99 a bottle. This year, right?
Yeah.
It was $9.99 3 years ago. So, and they increased volume, Well, why do that? I would rather see a more limited product and maybe a buck more a can. It's just.
But hold on. We can even. we have you guys here, so I hate to, like, Arch, you remember this. A couple of years ago, with your cases, when you were still selling like 24 of things, and they were really expensive cases, and you weren't doing like the 12 case or like a half case, things like that you became later to do, it became difficult. Like, I mean, I remember as when I had a shop and I was selling them, going, where is your margin to increase?
Right.
Like, at a point where it starts to get like, when you're over $200 a case to me before I send it to the customer, you start to get like, I start to worry. You know,
That's
like,
where brand equity comes in. And you got to create that brand equity. You lose brand equity when you oversaturate a market. That's when you lose it. You completely lose it.
You're right. Faraz has got a good point though, and I think, you know, and I can't speak to this 100%, but I think having a guy like Ant on the team who could see the market on both sides, who understood the numbers, who had some who was in on those meetings in terms of Ralpheus and how you what do you upscale the production to? How do you limit the variance, and what stays at the brewery? What causes that groundswell, that grassroots kind of like fervor for the beer, and how do you do it? Are you moving it toward putting it in the can and what it was in the bottle? And I think what Faraz is referring to, when Ralpheus was in a bottle, the glass is a little more than the aluminum. We were in 12-ounce cans, and so it made a lot of sense to, hey, let's try this stuff. Some of these cool things in cans, put some of the variants in cans, some of the really cool variants and limited in bottles, and let's see what the market says. Will the market respond to us? And we were fortunate enough that the brain trust who was controlling all of that made some really good decisions, and we didn't get much pushback. We really didn't. And Andrew saw the numbers. He also saw what was moving and what was really selling well and what wasn't selling well, and how we were portrayed in the market. To JJ's point, it worked well for us to just be very careful and
you never know. The problem is you never know when you step over the line.
Right.
You never know.
Right.
the consumer will tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the consumer dictates that.
The consumer will tell you, because you'll see your product sitting on the shelf. For us, to your point, you'll see it sitting there, right? And people will be like, "Yo, I'm not buying that at that price. I could get this over here for this price or whatever." Yeah, we've seen that for sure.
I don't know if it's a price thing. I think it's a availability of other stuff too. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
Because right now you can pick up High West, Willetize cut back big time. Lagunitas Willetize. I only got like how many cases did we get, Trevor? 5?
One case
Or one? I mean, it was terrible.
Right.
I mean, we bought how many? 20 last year?
Yeah.
It was insane. So everybody was cutting back. So, but at the same time, others were increasing. So
Right.
it's hard. It's hard. Lagunitas does a good job though with their marketing, and they really do. They do a great job limiting their products. And I don't know if that's a Riglio or Lagunitas, because a Riglio.
That was strong.
Hey, JJ, how many cases of Ralpheus did you get this year?
It might have been 10 or 15. I don't know.
I promise to give you one more than you got last year, so you don't break our balls.
Hey, dude, it's my job to fight. It's all.
I know. Oh, I know.
doubt.
I get them 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. Instagram texts.
I don't do that anymore. I don't do that much.
Much. That's a better answer. Thank you, Trevor.
How are you guys doing everything right now? Are you guys have an online store? What are you guys working with?
We do have an online store, and March 13th, our world changed. We went curbside 100% through our app and website, and it's amazing how the buying patterns of the consumer changed.
Yeah, real quick.
Because in-store shopping is harder than on our app or website. And it just is. When you're sitting on your couch and you're able to scroll through your phone and just load your shopping cart. It's fucking easy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Read
You know,
and exactly what you want.
It worked out well for everybody because everybody was able to stay isolated, stay at home, and not be exposed as much, and it worked out good for us and them too.
Right.
Yeah, the curbside thing's been great. We totally switched to that too, and yeah, it's been working out all right for us. But always curious to hear how people are pivoting. It was a quick pivot.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, this was the first week we were allowing people into the store, and we're still probably 60% curbside, 40% in store.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's slowly going to switch, but I don't know where it's going to level out. I don't know. But we have not done massive marketing telling people we're open either, where other stores have who've done that. And we've kind of been slower in that process because I don't want a big rush into the store. I just don't.
Yeah.
Especially on a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel good about it.
Yeah, right.
So
I think it's all something that could stay, these online orders. I mean, we were actually just having a discussion at the brew today, like, how's it going to look when we reopen? Do we keep our online sales for going? There's going to be people that don't want to wait in line to get some takeout beer. But do we staff a little section where people can come in and already have their order pre-made for them?
Now, what does that do to line life? We'll get into another subject.
Yeah. Oh, no. You do not. The genie is not going back in this bottle. Like, you're right. This is what's going to happen. Like, I don't think you guys are doing it, but let's just go with the ultra hype breweries that are doing like delivery. Oh, we're delivering all the 5 boroughs of Manhattan, or we're delivering all of Virginia, or wherever you're delivering. That's going to go away. But you're 100% right. The online, like, let's sell on Thursday what we're going to drop on Friday. You just come in. There's a whole different line for you that's already pre-ordered. So you just roll in, grab and go. You shouldn't put that back in the bottle. That's how it should have been. Virginia was smart. A lot of breweries in Virginia had gone to that long ago when their neighbors flipped out about line life. They said, okay, cool. Or Maine. In Maine, it's all ticketed. It's like, Bissell, it's Maine Brewing Company, it's all the big guys up there. They all just do tickets. Here you go. You buy a ticket. You have 48 hours to come pick up your beer. You walk in. You say, hi, my name's Fraz. Here's my ticket number. And they go, oh, okay. They grab it out of a locker, and you walk the hell out.
Yeah.
This shouldn't.
We did it on a small level with Burley Oak. We'd can off, whatever 16-ounce cans we get out of a sixtel, and we'd put it on the app. We'd have the pre-order, we'd have all the numbers on the app, and it would sell out quick, but it sold in 10 minutes, and everything was sold. We pre-marked it, and everything went in the cooler. There was no line. People walked in at their leisure.
Right.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a thing to stay for sure.
And if you're not, I mean, most craft people are tech savvy.
Oh yeah,
I would think.
Yeah, most people getting their info from Instagram or anything anymore.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm not doing it as a health thing. It's just a convenience thing. Like,
Yep.
I spent my time in line life. I mean, I made the joke. I think I said it the other day. Like, I spent 3 years chasing lines. I'm done doing that. Like, if I'll pay an extra $1 or $2, like, even charge me a convenience fee for you to have the app online. Cool, no problem. Instead of my already ridiculous $24 4-pack, I'm paying $25, but I don't have to wait around with some dude who's going to tell me how good this beer used to be 3 years ago, but it's shit now, but he's still standing in line with me. Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Or listen to some asshole tell you how an infected beer turned into a good sour. Like,
yeah, right.
That shit happens. Trevor, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. I mentioned it to JJ. I was like, would it be, it'd probably be in our best interest. It's a lot more work doing the curbside thing because we have to have our employees go out and pick this stuff for people. So it's like, do we charge a convenience fee for that? Like, going forward, like we might need to do that actually. So I mean, if it's like $1 convenience fee, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would say charge $1 like 3 months from now when the world is going to become normalized.
Right.
You charge a convenience fee, and you know what? I'm not going to care because you know what people were doing? They were paying the $8 for Uber Eats to bring me goddamn McDonald's.
Yeah.
I was always like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want McDonald's. I'm not paying you $7 to bring me McDonald's, and then I got to tip you. Like, come on, player. It's McDonald's. It's not even worth it. So, I mean, I agree.
Especially after you eat that, you're gonna shit it in 10 minutes anyway. So that's you basically wasted $20.
Yeah, you just greased everything up. It's coming out easy.
Listen, sometimes Daddy gotta evac the fool, man. What can I say? 20 McNuggets gets the job done if I'm a little bit. So here, but Arch, do what Ant used to do. He used to sell Safe Word, and then he would sell you a keg of Techno. And he would allow you to call it jalapeno techno. Because he understood you burned your fucking line if you put Safe Word on.
Yeah.
Dude, Safe Word's awesome.
It is, but it's a fucking line burner. It just fires through the line. A whole nother sixel.
Yeah, but
Sixel is
you did it
jalapeno.
with Line Life. You did it with Line Life. And I tried to get some. You didn't sell me any.
I am. Before we end this, I am not a Safe Word fan, and I'll let Andrew have the last word on behalf of Free Will.
No, I just.
I don't know. I'm not a Safe Word guy myself either.
Oh, you two bitches!
Honestly, we launched our online store, so we're shipping to Pennsylvania now, and the #1 beer that was requested was Safe Word.
Yeah, people call the store all the time asking.
Yeah, we want Safe
It's
Word.
crazy, man. I don't believe it, but Safe Word's coming back in like.
Dude, Habanero Sculpin.
Another
Habanero
batch.
Sculpin was awesome.
Yeah.
If you ever got it in code, if you didn't get it in code, it was just asshole and ale. Like, but it was. There's a beer called Ghostface Killer.
Yeah.
It is so unbelievably hot.
Hold on. You see these plants? See these plants right here? That's a scorpion. That's a ghost right there. I got some good stuff in for us.
Who's eating these, Tracy and the kids? What are you growing those for?
No,
they're for Faraz, man. They're for Faraz. In the fall, we're all gonna fucking eat these things.
yes,
We're gonna have a pepper eating contest in September.
Listen,
Yo,
we can do that shit all day, son.
The only thing I want that hot has to be like 5'6" with like a 36-inch chest and like a 36-inch hips.
No. 30, 34, 32, 36. Only she's 5'2". Come
Like
on, you
5'2",
know the
baby.
line. Don't act like you do.
Baby got back.
Thank you.
Yo, well, listen. Hey, JJ, man. Faraz, Trevor, listen. Free Will really appreciates you guys, man. Thank you for the love. Seriously.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
Let's stay in touch, man. Whatever you need, hit us up when things get back to normal. I'll get up there and visit you guys, and we'll work this all out. And, again, I'll give the last word to Andrew.
Thank you.
I got nothing to say. Nice to meet you guys. First of all. But, yeah, thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's a great time.
Great job, guys.
It's not coming back. It's in the tank right now. So
Cool.
I assume.
Yeah, Safe Word.
No, we'll do it again. You got Safe Word in the tank?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Are you gonna can it?
Yeah, the whole thing's getting canned from.
Are
Yes,
they coming out?
sir.
Are they coming out?
I don't even sell it. No,
Arch, are they coming to distro?
Yeah, we'll send some to distro. Absolutely.
All right, I'm marking those words.
I imagine.
Trevor, don't cut this. Don't cut this.
Listen. If I have to arm wrestle Ant to make sure some gets to distro, I'll do that.
There you go.
A couple for you guys, but
All right, man.
All right, boys.
Let's go. Thank you.
Yo, love you guys. Be
See you,
good.
man. Love you too, buddy.
Cheers.
Thanks, Andrew.